Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, our topic today is how to make smartphone photos or even low quality photos better. And I'll show you how we can do that with a couple of tools inside Luminar AI. Now, the image I'm about to show you is when I went to Egypt. I left my camera in my room, came outside, saw this shot I'm about to show you, took it with my cell phone and realized, this would be a good learning experience to show everyone. All right, so I'm gonna jump right into it. So here's the original image. And this is what we're gonna do to save it or correct it, all right? Now, before we go any further, let me show you my thought process here. We were waiting for the dining hall to open, and I'm sitting outside in front of this building here. All right. So I took this shot, and if you notice, it's with a camera phone, of course, but it was shot with a 2.2 millimeter lens, which means the perspective is just outrageous. All right. So I took like several steps back. Let's see, where's one? Okay, so this one right here, adjustments, revert to the original. Okay, so here's the original image. So I went further back, way back to get this shot. Now notice the perspective is good. However, look how far away we are from the image. So that's one way of fixing it in camera, is to use a telephoto lens, get further back, or even if you have what's called a tilt shift lens, to where you can take the lens and it shifts, and that's how you fix the perspective. Since we didn't do it in the camera, let's fix it in Luminar, all right? So we'll start with this one. And I'm gonna come over to the edit menu first, and under history, let's just go right to the bottom. I'm gonna show you how I started from the bottom up, all right? So here's the original image, and I started by letting Luminar AI select a template for me. So I went through here, and I'm looking through, and I was trying to figure out which would be a good template to start with, and I always come back to this clean light. Look at that. That clean light, I think, is a really great starting point. Before and after, it's doing most of the work for me. So I'll select edit. Let's see what it did for me. So any dot represents that there's a change to it. So of course, Accent AI, let's pump it up just a little bit more. The clouds and all that look really good. I could enhance it more, but I think it'll be falling into the realm of being too fake. I love structure. I'm gonna add a little more boost to it here. And let's see, what did it do for color? It brought the saturation down. And it adjusted a few of the individual colors. All right, so that's all looking good. Now I have to make a decision. So I have this set. However, I do know I need to fix the composition of it. So let's straighten it up. Okay, good. We got that set. And I'm going to come over to the Pro Tools, and I'm in absolutely love with its super contrast. So I'm going to boost up the shadows. So now I have control over all three areas, the highlights, the midtones, and the shadows. There we go. And I have it there. Good. Now it's entirely up to you on how far you want to take this. So right now, here's before, here's after. I'm looking at this and I'm seeing this as a good representation of where I was at. So it's a good reference photo. It's a good photo to show people, yes, this is Egypt, and I have to admit, I live here in Florida, So at the resort, I'm walking through, I see the same palm trees I see in Florida, little geckos running around. So to me, it wasn't as special as it was for a lot of my other friends who don't usually get to see palm trees. So from here, no, I didn't whip out my camera because I thought these are okay photos. The other photos I'll show you much later on were images that I felt I should take my camera out for. So now once I have this set, I can always come over here and dial it back to 0 and then gradually bring it back to where I can decide if I want it to be 100% or 80%. Now notice when I did this, it's not affecting the cropping. So notice how any of the cropping, or not the cropping, but the perspective distortion that was fixed, notice that this doesn't mess with that. It's just messing with all of the other tools that we use to create this look. All right? And here we are back here. So, and good morning, everyone. It's good to see you, or good afternoon. And if you have questions, please feel free to drop them into the chat here, and I'll try to answer them before we're done with this. And if I don't answer them, I'll try to come back and answer them for you after the show is over with. And please don't forget, the producers love it when you give us a thumbs up. All right? So now that I have that image set, I like it. I could right click on it, adjustments, and select copy. Now I can come over to one of the other images and paste it. Now, everything's going to get pasted except for the perspective distortion and the cropping. So I can come back over here. And actually, no, that did get pasted. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so yes, it does. The perspective did get pasted along with that, so that worked out great. Now for this image, this is where quality control comes in. I'll come down to color, and the blues just look a little too blue to me. So I'm going to leave the U, but let's change the luminance of it and brighten it up just a little bit. And maybe the saturation will bring it down just a little bit. There we go. And of course, go to the Pro Tools. And if this here, the highlights on them, you want to change, there we go, look at that. Now I have the color of the building that I'm looking for. And there we have it. All right. So guys, that's how you could take your cell phones with you, no matter where we go, obviously. And if you want to use them just as a reference photo, meaning, again, here's a time and location that we were at. We took these photos. It's not meant to go into an art gallery. It's not meant to go into, your portfolio. It's just a good reference photo. We could use our cell phones to get a beautiful shot and then make it even better using Luminar. Now, a lot of times I'll use my cell phone to set the shot up just so I can see what everything looks like. And then it is very similar to the old days when they used to use Polaroid cameras. They'd go into a room, photograph everything, and then put the images on the table and say, okay, well, the light in that corner needs to be increased by a full stop, so let's put light in that corner. So we're doing the same thing. The only difference is we're using a digital print. Take the shot, look at it, decide if you like the composition of it, then you can pull out your main camera and just have a field day. All right? Let's check any questions. Awesome. All right, and one question you should ask is, by doing that crop that we just did, what's the overall dimension or the overall pixel size? Well, if we go to export it, it's showing us here, it's still a pretty big file, 4,032 by 2268. Oh, let me share the screen there. I'm sorry. So what I did was I came over here. We were here in catalog. I came over to the export tab and save photo to disk, and it's showing me how large that image is. Let's come down again. Open the original. Now let's export it. Notice the dimension size is still the same. So by doing that perspective, it adjusts and rearranges the pixels for us. So we still have a really good size image that we can print from. If I wanted to, I can easily print this as an 11 by 14 print, and the quality will still be good. All right? And there's no other questions? Well, great. It was great seeing all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Well, guys, I'll see you at the next coffee break.